First, you must realize that you have no idea before you can know the idea. We scan across all the frequencies if we want to learn anything new. Let us begin.
What has physics done for me lately?
Furthermore, the equation E is equal mc squared.
We have now acquired a fateful power to alter and to destroy nature.
That's like when you're in physics and you go to Dreamworld saying, oh, this is a physics excursion.
Science. What is it all about?
The whole of human history all falls in the dust of one stroke of the nail file. You can't really get to grips with evolution unless you realise what an enormous amount of time.
Our own planet is only a tiny part of the vast cosmic tapestry, a starry fabric of worlds yet untold.
You're tuned into what can only be described as the best radio station on this blue dot we call Earth. It is, of course, 4ZZZ, your community radio broadcaster. Be it on your conventional wireless radio by tuning into the classic frequency of 102.1 FM, digital devices such as DAB or smart speaker, listening via the Community Radio Plus app, or streaming us live from our sensational website at 4ZZZ.org.au. And, of course, you can always listen back to this show or any 4ZZZ show using the ingenious on-demand feature also found at that URL. We also now have a weekly podcast of the show for your listening pleasure, curated by Toby, a condensed version of the show without the music, which Mum prefers. Just search for our show name, which is, of course, No Idea, spelt with a K, your weekly dose of science. And joining me for this episode to speak about all things science are two of my favourite science communicators. I thought I'd drop the influences, a bit of a tarnish thing, yeah. Howdy, Peter.
Ahoy, Max. How are you?
And ahoy, Gabriel.
Ahoy, Max. We are approaching the winter solstice. Anyone know what day that's on?
20th.
Is it?
I thought it was the 21st.
Second, I thought.
21st.
Mm.
Okay, well, we've got three different dates here. Somewhere around that time. You can be sure it'll be dark.
It is this Sunday.
Yeah.
At the point at which Brisbane will get its shortest day, 10 hours and 24 minutes of sunlight. How many Earth days does it take for Earth to go around the sun?
365.
365.2 or something.
365.
Yeah.
Mars, any idea? How many Earth days?
600 and something.
687.
Yeah.
He's got it. What about the longest in our solar system?
10,000 and something.
Pluto. R.I.P.
Neptune, 60,190 Earth days per year per full orbit around the sun. But what is the longest year in any solar system? What's the longest year we've
That we know of.
That we know of.
I'm going to guess.
I'll tell you, it depends how you measure it. So go first for a guess for if it's any exoplanet circling around in some sort of continuous orbit around a star.
I might guess that it would be 704. And 5.
Nah. Where would you get that idea from?
Yeah.
It's not at all. It's not that at all. It's going to be in the thousands.
67 light years from Earth. It's GJ900b.
Catchy name.
Clearly. It takes 1.27 million Earth years to complete one of its years. But if you only look at planets with the kind of real years, let's call them, planets that are large and close enough to their stars to noticeably dim them as they pass the star, known as transiting planets, then it's Kepler 421b. And Kepler 421b has a year that is how long?
705.
704 Earth
Oh, I'm
days.
off now. I'm one off.
Yeah.
It was Max, now it's me.
But you got to say plus or minus one, Peter, always.
That's true. We always have a small margin of error.
The science rigor there.
Yeah.
Every measurement is meaningless without its measurement of error attached.
Exactly.
704 Earth days. It's the longest transiting planet year. So there's stuff in the solar system that
It's a bright star.
Yeah. So that's not the longest year. 704 Earth days. That happens to be, Max, the show number. Up to 704.
Episode. Nice.
Of this show, No Idea. Text in throughout the show on 0420626733. What are you playing us in with, Max?
Oh, we're straight into it, are we? Okay. Well, it just...
Oh, yeah. What do you got coming up? I missed a whole section.
I just assumed that he didn't care. I was like, he's done with this now. He's ready to go.
No, this is what's going to happen throughout this show multiple times because I'm on World Cup brain and have had between 3 to 7 hours sleep every night for the last week or so, and weird bits of sleep between them and weird hallucinations of kind of being awake and kind of being asleep watching matches at 5 a.m. So
he's dribbling right now with his feet. He seems confused.
This is like Eurovision, but better.
Yeah.
But better, and for months, because it's going for so long this time. What do you got, Max, coming up?
I'm talking about stats and the World Cup.
Thrilling.
Yeah.
Oh, World Cup's pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Were you impressed
I have questions about that, so
were you
get
impressed
ready.
with us beating Turkey?
Yeah.
Oh, thrilled.
Yeah.
Absolutely thrilled. Peter, what do you got?
I've got, to balance my usual water segment of my marine science, I've got something on fire coming up.
Oh, cool.
Water and fire.
Water and fire and water.
Because just talking about that, I thought you were going to bring up the Fire Diamond, which is that hazard placard that they put on barrels, and it's designated 704.
Oh, we'll redo it, Max. We'll take it again when we come back.
Retape it in the break. Toby, cut this. Make it better.
I can't talk about the songs. He's cut me off. Because if I talk about it now, then it doesn't work with the podcast because they have to cut this bit out about the
Max!
Don't you think I know that?
Right of reply.
You're making more work for the poor fella.
We'll let Toby sort it out.
What a legend, Toby. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, sure. Gabe, what do you got coming up?
I've got this pretty crazy thing that's come out about some research onto COVID-19 patterns in how humans moved, and they discovered something not at all COVID-19 related that's kind of blowing my mind. I'm keeping it very vague on purpose. We'll get into it later on. I've also got some stuff on some weird zebra finches that seem to be able to change.
Right up your alley.
Right up my alley. They seem to be able to change their chicks' development by calling to them in egg.
Oh my God, it's like it's the baby Beethoven, but for finches.
And yeah.
Oh God.
It's up here.
So when I say the letters B and P, what is the first thing you think of?
British Petroleum.
And what do you think of when you think of them?
Oil spill.
Yep. 2010. 511 million litres of oil into the Gulf of Mexico. I remember the day it happened. I remember watching the news. I remember seeing the big spurts of oil going everywhere and thinking, this doesn't seem great. Little 12-year-old me was like, no, this is bad. And then I remember it just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And it was like months later and they were like, hey, so we still haven't fixed this. It was only, I think it was 3 months later that they stopped the oil flowing before they could even get to the cleanup.
Could we get those mermaids from H2O to go and fix it, do you think?
We should have asked him. Yeah. Should have been top of the priority list, although I think they would have probably had problems along with the rest of the air-breathing mammals that had a lot of problems.
They were
with
also
oil.
booked, Max. We got in touch with their agents.
Yeah. Those tails are also incredibly heavy. Yeah, hard to move around. It was a disaster. We still don't know exactly how many animals it killed, but estimates suggest that it was up to 800,000 birds, 65,000 turtles in 2010 alone. So that's not counting all the ones that died afterwards. And apparently that year specifically, for some reason, there were a lot of global turtles in the Gulf of Mexico. And so they think that it had global impacts for decades and we still haven't really figured out how much. And they have no idea how many fish or marine mammals. That's just like not even measurable. All of these are estimates and they are huge.
Especially about anything that needs to interact with the surface, right? Birds that need to land or go under the surface. Marine animals need to breathe
at the
above
surface.
the surface or at the surface.
Yeah, absolutely. All of that, very, very bad. So, all of that to say, oil spills suck and they are major disasters. And right off the bat, I want to get it out there. They're much easier to prevent than fix. The main thing you want to do with an oil spill is not have one. And all efforts should be put into making sure companies do not have them and are smart about this stuff. But when they do happen, the idea is that you have sort of two choices. You can allow the oil to spread on water, which threatens coastlines and marine life, or you can do the other thing that they do. You can set it on fire. So this is called an in situ burn. This is a real thing they do with oil spills. And it's, it burns the fuel. So that's That's why they do it, so it doesn't spread. But it does produce thick clouds of black smoke. Not great. It puts soot high into the atmosphere, and it leaves unburned residues on ocean surfaces. So it has still stuff on the ocean that you have to go and clean up. It's just a lot less and a lot less flammable at that point, obviously. But now there may be another option. Set it on fire, but also tornado.
Really?
But also tornado.
But also tornado. Now, I can't, as a person who cares about this stuff,
With
get
sharks?
into this story. Not Sharknado. Not Sharknado. It won't be that powerful. And the reason it won't be that powerful is because I need to clarify here, although everyone will be talking about fire tornadoes with this, it's not a tornado, it's a fire whirl. There's a huge difference between a tornado and a fire whirl, or what we in Australia call a willy willy. So a tornado must connect from the cloud to the ground or the cloud to the water.
Okay. But my first question, though.
Yes.
Can we create a tornado? Is that something that humans can do?
Well, so this is the thing. We can't create a tornado. In fact, we are already really struggling in creating tornadoes digitally with anything. We
create a whirl?
We can create a willy willy.
That one.
We can do that. And it's actually not that difficult to make a small one. You can do it with just a candle and a piece of like perspex. You can do it. Don't do it at home, but you could.
And if you have 3 or more people, if you run in a circle fast enough,
that's
you'll
right.
kick one off as well.
And you turn white.
Could probably see some effects of vorticity on the fire, to be honest. But these people from Texas A&M University, QS ranking, please.
It's pretty high, I think, isn't it? Texas A&M?
Yeah. I'm going 86.
I think it's like 50.
It's 144, but still pretty high. They wanted to test out whether fire whirls would be better at getting rid of spills fast. So they did. They created a fire whirl in not laboratory conditions, but in a field that they could control. Like it wasn't on. They didn't just go to an oil, like the ocean, pour in oil and then make a fire whirl. That was not where we're at now. We're considerably before that. So this study was led by Dr. Elaine Oran, who's a professor of aerospace engineering. And can I just say, slay girl, like awesome. I love that you're an aerospace engineer and you're like, let's burn oil spills with fire whirls. Like, girl, get it. She said that their goal was to harness the chaotic nature of fire whirls as a powerful, precise restoration tool to protect coastlines, marine ecosystems, and the environment as a whole. Mic drop moment, Elaine. Hell yeah. Take the chaos of nature.
What does a fire whirl do differently to just setting it on fire?
So we'll get to exactly how it works with this fire whirl, but first I want to tell you how they actually build a fire whirl.
Sure.
So the main thing you need to
Take
do
notes.
is don't take notes. It's about airflow. So generally what you need to think about is that it's sort of like instead of air coming in from all directions slowly, you give it a very small amount of air. So let's say you've got that candle and you've wrapped it in perspex. You have a very small channel for the air to come in from. And that thin gap, the air, because it's smaller, it's going to go a lot faster.
Yeah,
so
turbo.
it actually makes the air go really
Turbo,
fast, and
nice.
that's what makes the fire whirl. So, like I said, small one's really easy to make. Theirs was bigger. They built a 4.8 meter triangular structure with 3 walls, again, to try and make that airflow. And at the center, they placed a 1.5 meter wide pool of crude oil floating underwater. Then they lit the oil on fire, manipulated the airflow a bit, and voila, fire whirl. A 5 meter tall fire whirl.
Nice.
Okay.
So they're standing in a field somewhere in Texas with this giant fire whirl that they've created, and they're just like, yeah, great. Let's try that one again.
Only in Texas, eh?
Well, actually, we do a lot of fire
The
science here in
researchers
Australia.
Things bigger out here.
Yeah, they imagine this research application
I
filing
should probably
in.
point out that the University of Queensland has a fire lab that they do fire trials in. So it's not just Texas. We also do this stuff.
We want to set the oil on fire with a tornado.
Yeah, that's basically what's happening.
Go wrong.
What could go wrong? It actually works tremendously. So the rotating vortex draws in huge amounts of oxygen because it's going faster. It's loads of oxygen. And that means that it creates a hotter and more efficient flame. So the thing to know about fires is they don't all burn the same. They don't all burn the same heat, the same method. Like they're very, very different. And so this was hot and efficient. It sort of the other good thing about it was that they say it acted like a giant incinerator. So the spinning flames were destroying lots of those particles that were responsible for the smoke plumes and stuff like that. So hotter, faster, better, stronger. That's a fire whirl.
Yeah.
And it also vaporized most of the oil before it could remain as a toxic, that residue on the water. So that tar sort of thick stuff. So all in all, the fire whirls burned the oil about 40% faster, reduced soot emissions by about 40%, and achieved about 95% fuel consumption energy. So that is much, much better than the just set it alight methodology. But there's a big but here, a big but. Despite being 5 meters tall, this is only 1.5 meters of oil. So what happens when you have kilometers? How big of a triangle do you have to build to make a fire whirl? Do you move the triangle? What's holding it? How do you manage it? That's all these questions have not been answered. The other thing that even Dr. Iran brings up is that they're really hard to control and very pernickety. They're really sensitive. So like too much wind, too strong a wind can destabilize it and then it'll collapse. If you have not enough wind and you don't control it well enough, that can prevent the vortex from forming and then it's just a fire, like a normal fire. It's not actually doing the vortex. And in this experiment, those two things were known. In this, they found out that the oil can't be too thick. Otherwise, they actually went out before the fuel was gone. So they didn't even eat all of the fuel. They just burnt some of it. So all of those, and they didn't even really go into the logistics of flying around a fire whirl in the middle of the ocean, which I think is probably a big thing to think about. But despite all of that, Dr. Iran is still very confident. She believes that this is just a first step and that we will start seeing this as a potential outcome for nature. So you never know. You never know.
I'm thinking about the carbon capture. What about that part of it?
Well, yeah. Part of me was like, if you're going to set something on fire in such a controlled manner, surely you could then take... Like, what you were doing there is burning it in the same way that you would be if it had managed to get on land the way you had originally planned. So part of me is like, if you're going to all that effort, why don't you capture some of the energy from it? Put it in a battery or something, but that's probably less realistic than the fire whirl, to be honest.
Some sort of filter on top at least to try and capture some of the particles.
Yeah, totally.
Well, again, that might mess with airflow. You can't mess with airflow.
Max, it's been a long-running vendetta of mine to expand your list of known birds in the world.
What are we up to, like 10?
I think we're up to about 20, but
20
I did have a look
fair.
through. I had a look through, and I think we might need to cull some off. I reckon we may have some list burn going on here.
Right.
He's forgetting them as we go.
Yeah.
Zebra finch.
Pigeon, Max.
Max, yes. What can you tell me about a zebra finch? Can
They
you
got
describe it?
stripes on them, and they have trouble learning their language unless the adults are around. Stuff like that.
So
maybe.
That was about 5 minutes ago. Anything, how big is it?
704 millimeters. I don't know.
That's quite good. They are small little finches.
They're definitely not 704 millimeters. They're way smaller than that.
Small little finches. 704 millimeters. No, that's probably about right for the main bit of their body.
Yeah.
And they're not striped on the body, Max. The tail has the classic zebra stripe look to it. And then the rest of the body is kind of a browny grey mix. They've got a bright orange beak and a cool little bit of white and black happening around their eyes. They're a very cool bird. They are found just about everywhere in Australia, the zebra finch, if you look hard enough at the right time. But the only place they're not on the mainland is up right at the top of the Cape of Queensland.
Right.
And maybe bits of southwest WA. They're not really on Tassie, but everywhere else.
That's fine.
You
We
won't
don't
see 'em.
count that. But everywhere, Max. So it's everywhere in Australia, just not Tassie.
Yeah, Tassie.
Pretty much everywhere. They have still been spotted in Tassie. They're just not there often.
Oh.
Yeah. So they're pretty much everywhere. And they're sort of one of the quintessential Australian birds. They're like everywhere, and they're so amazing, and people love them so much. They've become one of the staple aviary birds around the world now too, the zebra finch, and people go crazy with breeding them and all sorts of stuff. But if you find one in the wild, and it's scorching hot, which it often is, because a lot of the time their core habitat's in the center of the country, so in the warmer areas, you might see an adult nesting. Sitting on its eggs in the nest, panting, and while they're doing that, they might be giving a call that sounds a bit like this.
Oh, this is the chicken on the bicycle. That's right. Yeah.
The squeaky wheel. Needs an oil desperately.
That squeaky wheel is the heat call of a zebra finch.
It's
not
bloody
a
hot out here.
Yeah, pretty much screaming about the weather.
Bloody scorcher.
And it was recorded by Dr. Mylene Mariette, a behavioural ecologist who at the time was researching at Deakin University in Melbourne. You got a QS ranking for me?
Deakin's like 89.
In Australia.
Deakin Uni.
Oh,
Melbourne. Burwood.
Melbourne.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 155.
207. 207. And they think that call is heard by the developing chicks in the egg, and it might change how they develop, how they grow.
The squeaky one is
in
the eggs.
Egg. That squeak is the adult.
And
then the chick is hearing it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
And they think it might change how the chick develops. So to find out, they took 19 zebra finch eggs.
Yes.
They had them breeding in an aviary at Deakin University. They took 19 of the eggs and they put them half between two different setups. Both were
One
at
of them
30.
was scorching hot.
No,
Yeah.
both were at 37.5 degrees, which
So
is a
both
very
were hot.
standard temperature.
Yeah.
It's sort of if it's hitting 40 or more, similar to humans, that's when you start getting into heat stroke type
Game
temperature.
over. Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends on the wet bulb temperature for humans, but yeah.
Yes. And so they had them there for 10 days and then they put them into one of two treatments. In both of them, I have to tell you now, all 19 of these chicks did not make it out of the egg alive.
Oh.
They're killed for the research and they were then jetted off to Queen Mary University of London.
Oh.
Want to have a go at that QS ranking?
50.
I only know King's University. 38.
Queen Mary Uni? Max?
50.
110. 110. Well, I'm not going to go into detail about what happened to the to the eggs and the developing chicks inside of them.
Yeah.
But only the heads made it to Queen Mary University.
Oh.
Yeah. Because they were specifically looking at their
brains.
brains. Exactly
Yeah.
right. At the hypothalamus in particular, which is a part of the bird's brains that controls basic things like hunger, heart rate, body temperature. We
call it the lizard brain quite often. That's what the common name for it is. It's the bits that you don't consciously think about at all.
People talk about that reptilian part of your brain. They're kind of referring usually to this hypothalamus. It's a very old part of animals' brains.
We share it with with a lot of things.
So pretty much every animal that has a brain on the same sort of evolutionary pathways, us and birds, is going to have a hypothalamus in there that's controlling some of these really basic things. It includes body temperature, though, so that's why they're looking at it. What they're expecting to see was certain genes turned on in the samples of these chicks' hypothalamus to try and change how their body temperature would be regulated, which they didn't find. And they said that was initially disappointing, but then they found instead genes involved in cell structure and muscle contraction were activated much less after the developing chicks were played the Finch call. So they compared the eggs in the trial that had been played the calls and the ones that hadn't been played the calls. That was the only difference between the two. And the ones that had heard that heat call, this call.
Yeah.
The eggs that had heard that call, the chicks inside of them
to prepare for heat.
had changes that would prevent their blood vessels from maturing fully before hatching, indicating that they'd then be able to finish that development when they're hatched and in the hot conditions, which would make their brain better equipped at dealing with the blood flow through it for hot conditions.
It could learn what the basis is.
It could finish the development in the heat conditions it hatches into, which would make it probably more able to deal with stuff like heat waves and prevent things like heat stroke, which is pretty insane because it means a call, that sound can tell, obviously it's not doing this consciously, but the chick is hearing that, if not finished developing in the egg, the zebrafinch chicks are hearing that call and their biological makeup is being changed as they're developing to leave this bit of blood vessel development in the brain unfinished deliberately. So when they hatch into it, into hot conditions, they're able to deal with it. Or if they don't hatch into hot conditions, they're probably able to deal with that and finish developing for those conditions, which is amazing in its own right, but also amazing because it means the chicks aren't just responding to heat in the moment. It's not like these eggs were developing in hot conditions and then hatched ready for hot conditions. All they had was the adults telling them,
it's hot.
Prepare for hot conditions. So there could be potentially...
Well, no, they heard adults saying, I'm hot.
No, not necessarily. Because they think that potentially because they showed it happening without the heat, the adult zebra finches might have an inbuilt way of predicting the heat coming when their chick's going to hatch, giving this call saying it's going to be hot when you hatch, and then the chicks are able to change their biological development to be ready for that heat when they hatch.
Man. Yeah, that is different.
Isn't that insane?
It's great.
That's what I got for you.
Okay, we got Izzy in the room.
Hello.
We're Gabrielle, and we've got our friendly neighbourhood marine scientist, Peta.
Do you know what tuna is?
Fish.
It's fish!
Thank God someone's working on this. I don't know what I'd do without it.
Fish are friends, not food.
Great start.
Gabe, what does the cat say?
Yeah?
Max, what does the chicken say?
Cluck, cluck.
And Izzy, what does a shark say?
All right, everyone, I want you to picture something with me.
Ready.
And I was going to give you a picture, but I looked for an hour, couldn't find anything. So you've walked into a hotel bathroom.
Okay.
It's rectangular. You've come in the short side, there's long sides. To your right, there's a shower and a bath. And then there's a tiled wall that doesn't come out all the way, but about halfway through the room. And behind that tiled wall is a toilet.
Yeah.
So it's a little, sort of partition in the room.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then along the whole left-hand side of the room to your left is a mirror. Now, if I'm standing in the shower, can I see the toilet?
What?
Depends.
How high up does the wall go?
Yeah.
There's the wall, it's partitioned this way.
Yeah.
The mirror goes along the entire length of the room.
Mm-hmm. Is the partition floor to ceiling?
I say no.
Yes,
because of the
okay,
angles.
it's floor.
Because of the angles. Because the toilet's facing straight ahead.
If the toilet is facing straight ahead, and I'm standing in the shower bath situation, and I'm looking straight ahead.
Yes,
I
and
think
there's a mirror
yes.
in front of you, and there's the mirror is also in front of the toilet. It's the same mirror.
Yes.
Yes,
I'm
Izzy,
saying
you
yes.
are right. You can see it.
Because, yes.
Yes, but if you look to your right...
Because yes.
If you look to your
and
right...
I've always said that.
Or if you turn your body, you wouldn't
put
be
that
able
on
to
me.
see it because of the partition wall. But
Right.
the mirror allows you to see it. Allows
Yes.
you to see an occluded thing from your vision.
Yeah.
Now, that was a bit of a roundabout thing because I was like, this is so obvious to most humans, it's actually really difficult to get you to think about why you can see it. Because we're so used to using mirrors nowadays that you wouldn't even consider that it's kind of odd that you are now able to see the toilet. In fact, one of the reasons that I couldn't find a picture of this is because people do seem to be, or at least designers seem to be aware of this, and they don't put mirrors opposite partitions because why would you have a partition?
Privacy out the window.
Yeah.
There's no point of having a partition if you then put a mirror in front of it
Fair enough.
because people can see.
I just say don't put mirrors in there. There you go. Solved.
Somehow we're going from looking at a toilet through a mirror to the ocean.
We are going
excited to see this bridge.
To interior design.
My favourite ocean creature. Mirrors are an interesting thing when we look at our brains because they are tools. They're not something that you're born knowing how to use. In fact, humans only seem to gain mirror self-recognition, which we've talked about a bunch on this show, at about 2 years old. But we're not talking about mirror self-recognition today. We're talking about just simply using mirrors to see things that are not usually available to you. And we're thinking about octopuses.
Of course.
So again, we love an octopus. I love an octopus.
Did they
are
predict the World Cup
incredibly
yet?
intelligent.
Yeah.
No, that octopus is no longer doing it, as far as I'm aware.
Well,
I think
octopuses
it was
don't live
taken
very
out.
long.
No, okay.
Yeah.
If you've seen an octopus do it, it's probably been a different one each time.
Could be, yeah.
Right.
It depends on the octopus. Some of them can live decent amounts of time, but the ones in the aquariums, not that long. So, yeah,
okay.
probably not the same octopus. But we do know that octopuses are incredibly intelligent, and we look at them a lot because they're an example of convergent co-evolution, which essentially means that quite often there are things that we have both evolved to do. Our brains both see a task that needs fixing, but their brains evolved completely separately to us. Our last common ancestor to an octopus was a worm that lived 350 to 500 million years ago. So we have very little genetically in common with octopuses. So everything they built themselves. And that's why it's interesting to look at them, to see, okay, well, if they've also developed this thing, it must be important or it must have some common value to us. So that's why we look at these things. And because they're so intelligent, and we've seen them do really intelligent things like open jars and escape from aquariums, we wanted to see if they could do this. To see if they can use mirrors to help them understand their environment. So this comes to us from Dartmouth College.
Dartmouth.
QS ranking. I believe it's in the US.
Okay.
Dartmouth.
1,000 to 100, whatever, 1,100.
Let's
200.
800 to 900.
It's 247, Gabe. Congrats. Dartmouth is a decently highly ranked college. So the goal of this research was to determine whether the animals could use a mirror to identify a location of an object that was out of sight. And so instead of attacking the reflected image, they needed to figure out that the thing that they were looking for was actually located somewhere different and move towards it. So the first thing they did is they just put a mirror in their tank and let them become accustomed to it. These were wild-caught octopuses, by the way. They're not bred octopuses. Then they had to teach them, like before they got into the real research, they had to teach them to understand that the mirror could tell them something about the world, if that makes sense. So they kind of had like, you know, those mirrors you have when you go around the corner in like a car park.
Sure.
Yeah, basically one of those. And then they put like a little crab in a jar around the corner. And they just had to learn that it's around the corner. It's not in the mirror. That was actually something they decided to teach them first before the experiment. Apparently each octopus took about 10 to 12 times to stop going at the mirror.
Going at the mirror.
So it's actually not that intuitive for them.
Which is direct, so sort of directed tool use, which was, if you remember the bee story from last week.
Yes.
They very deliberately didn't try to walk them up to the solution and teach them in this way. So it's a different form of
It's a different
tool use
methodology.
if you're walking an animal up to the solution like that.
Yeah, but then they did change it. So they changed the thing. And so essentially it's sort of like our bathroom, is they put them in a tank with one big long mirror across the back, which they were facing. They were inside this corridor, which was open at the top and at the front, in front of them. And then either side, there was going to be a stimulus. Now, I want us to have a little methodology quiz. I want you guys to use your science brains to try and solve a problem with their methodology.
Okay.
So, if you were trying to get an octopus to go towards the stimulus, what stimulus would it be? Food. So crabs, right, is the main thing they use.
Okay.
But here's the thing with octopuses. It's not just seeing that they use. Does anyone know what else they use?
They've scent, don't they?
They have chemoreceptors, which is scent and taste,
On their arms.
all along their arms.
Which is why they're why they break into jars that are sealed tight, is they can still actually detect the scent, tiny amounts of scent coming through the jar lid.
Off the thread. Oh.
Nice. So that's why they know. It's not just vision, it can also be scent.
Yeah.
And so they had to get rid of that in this, because it can't be that they could smell or taste that the crab was either direction. They needed to be able to use the mirror. So how would you solve this? If you had to take away an octopus's sense of smell, how would you do that?
How would I take away an octopus's sense
How would
of
you control for this?
An amputee.
That's not going to help them because then they can't move. So then what do you do?
Would you make it either smell like nothing or overload them with sensors?
You could put in fake meat that looks like a crab.
There you go. It's actually what they did was
rock.
not fake meat, but a virtual crab. They actually projected the image of a crab on the walls of the aquarium. Yeah, kind of over-engineering. I think you could just put in a fake crab or something.
I was going to say like a plushie
projected
thing.
A bit like Gabe's blue flower from last week.
Yes, a bit like the blue dot.
Just a
painted dot.
Flower.
Just something to make them know that there could be a crab, and then they would get a crab, a real
orange
one.
paint for this one, thanks.
Draw a crab on the outside. And so they put these octopuses in the corridor, and then the mirror was in front, and the crab was placed either to the left of the corridor or to the right of the corridor. Now, remember, they can't see the crab at all unless they're looking in the mirror. So they only got called a successful mirror use if they immediately left the corridor and immediately turned to the correct direction. They couldn't head to the mirror first, and they couldn't go the wrong direction. And if they got it right, they got a live crab. So yay, live crab, real food.
Yeah.
In total, they got it correct about 73% of the time, which is much higher than what could be considered chance. And this is the thing that I thought was really cool, some octopuses just completely surpassed expectations by, instead of going around, they just climbed directly over the wall next to them.
Yeah, of course they did.
Because they're octopuses and they're in the ocean, so they live in a 3D environment.
Yeah, totally.
They were like, why would I go all the way around this way when I can go over the top? And they got a lot faster as trials progressed, although they did say that they very rarely took the most direct route, because I think it's just sort of octopus vibes, as they like to figure things out. They're not super crow flies sort of animals. But it's important because this sort of mirror usage of being able to figure out the space and environment you're in has only previously been seen in vertebrates, like mammals and birds. Like quite smart vertebrates, not other vertebrates either. So what does this mean for our convergent coevolution is that mirror usage has some common process here. Essentially, we have evolved similar neural solutions to the same neural challenges. The question here is then, what challenge and what solutions? That's not really what this research was going into. The question is, what core thing did we both have to do to figure out this, to have something in our brains that allowed us to use tools like mirrors? Because remember, they don't happen in the wild.
Yeah.
So it's not like octopuses have ever had an opportunity to develop something like that.
Yeah.
Like we have shiny surfaces. They don't really. So it's a bit weird that they can even figure this out. But what they think, their guess at the moment, is that octopuses live in very complex environments, so structurally complex. They like sitting in their little dens, and then they go around in the dark, and they describe them like cats. Pouncing. They sit in the dark and they wait and they pounce. And that sort of strategy of knowing your home ground and knowing how to hide, so protecting yourself by hiding, is hugely benefited by complex spatial awareness. So you knowing your environment so super well. And they said this also happens in humans. Humans, while we were more endurance hunters, did also use things like pouncing and waiting and hunt. Even today, people who still hunt today are significantly better if they have better spatial awareness of their locations. And so they think that might be it, is the way of hunting, because the other vertebrates we see it in are also this sort of hunting. But it's a long bow at the moment. Still lots of research to be done. The core thing from this is that octopuses could turn around a corner in a car park better than some humans.
Very good.
Very cute.
Love.
Owen texted in.
I believe you have an apology, Gabe.
Yeah, Max, you and I both went 704 millimeters. That's about 7 centimeters. Nope, that is definitely 70
who
centimeters.
was like, that's not the size of a finch at all?
Yeah, Peter was correct, and there's not a finch roughly that's about a meter long.
704 millimeters?
Yeah.
That's quite a large finch.
Yeah, Owen texted in saying their actual stats 12 to 17 grams and about 12 millimeters beak tip to tail.
Yeah.
Is that
That's
right?
a more accurate size.
Yeah,
of a
about
finch.
12 mil.
You tune into 4ZZZ, and the show is No Idea with me, Max. We've got Maximillian, we've got Issy, we've got Gabe, we've got this.
Single press overtake, stay in scenario 7.
If you push me off the track, I think you have to leave a space. All the time you have to leave a space.
Come on. Get it, Kill. Get it. Woo!
Yeah, you don't need to tell me that.
Max, we're in this together, mate. Head down. Come on.
Yes!
Great job, guys. That was hard work. Oh, that was hard work.
It all happened in Barcelona, Spain. It was a traditional F1 weekend, which means there were 3 free practice sessions of 60 minutes each, then Saturday qualification and Sunday's feature race. Free practice saw Mercedes, Ferrari and McLaren setting the pace. And then Saturday came qualification. Pole almost went to 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton, driving for Ferrari, but beating him by 0.06 of a second was the luckiest driver. George Russell and his Mercedes taking the honours. Lewis was second, and the second Mercedes driver, Kimi Antonelli, third, and McLaren's Lando Norris rounding out the second row in fourth. And then the feature race happened. It should be noted that it was going to be a hot race, which
as usual for Spain.
And that the Barcelona track is abrasive on tyres. So Mercedes went conservative, starting George on mediums, signalling a possible 2-stop strategy. Meanwhile,
I want to say most of the grid was on mediums.
Right.
So I don't think Mercedes were necessarily conservative. I think they were just doing sort of the dumb
norm
thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Ferrari had Lewis starting on the front row on softs, leaving
which is let's say the not conservative.
Yes. So they're really broadcasting that they're going for a 3-stop strategy. Talk us through it, Max.
Well, obviously, I mean, if you can make up a place on the start into turn 1, that's what you want to do at a track like Barcelona. Again, because you want the clear air, because as we've stated, hell on tyres.
Yes.
And Hamilton got away really well. I think he had the fast reaction versus Russell, except he sort of bogged down in that second phase. So nothing too interesting happened at the front. Unfortunately for Isaac Hadjar, a bit further back in the grid, he just completely
wheel spin
stalled out. Yeah.
Too much wheel spin. Yeah.
Lots of wheel spin. So, yeah, he was the big loser off the starts. Everything else was relatively textbook, though. And then it settles into a bit of a groove. George looks really comfortably in control, and Antonelli can't do much against Hamilton. Then we get into that first round of pit stops. Of course, Ferrari do have to be quite aggressive here because they have started on the soft tyre. They opt for the hard compound tyre.
And the undercut works at Barcelona.
Yeah, the undercut at Barcelona is very, very powerful. Again, because of that tyre degradation, if you are on the fresh rubber, you just have an advantage inherently versus those that have been out on even on a medium for however long. They're saying the wear on the mediums versus the softs wasn't actually that great a difference, but the hards did seem to have a little bit more longevity. So they sort of forced Mercedes' hand. Like, they have to respond.
Yeah, and they come in straight away, didn't they, with George, 1 lap later.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And basically, like, all the teams basically identified for their drivers who they were racing, and they just had to more or less shadow their decisions. Because otherwise, you're just effectively giving track position to the other team. So this happens, and it suddenly Russell's pace seems a bit off as well on that second stint, starting to show maybe a few, chinks in the armour or what have you.
Yeah.
And then what was the next big event here? Let's have a quick look.
So Lando went in as well. So they kept saying to George, Lando's your enemy in this respect. And I was surprised I didn't mention Lewis because he had the 3-stop strategy, which would mean that he has an extra 22 seconds to serve.
I think Lando was more so for Antonelli.
Yeah.
They were covering him off.
Right, okay, not George.
Not for George. No, George was very much a straight fight
were Mercedes worried about Lewis at all during the race, or were they just?
I think they were very worried.
Okay, yeah.
They absolutely did not want to concede that track position, but they thought the 2-stop was more optimal. They thought the 3-stop at the end of the day, because you're losing 20 odd seconds every time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
should be enough to see them through. So if he's on the hards, but because Lewis went so early, then George had to come in early, which meant the hards weren't going to last the whole race.
Correct.
Because he had to put down like 46 laps or something like that to finish the race, which was
on
impossible.
a high-deck circuit is ridiculous. Yeah, you'd have to be an absolute tyre whisperer.
Yeah.
And then somewhere along the line, Fernando Alonso, who may be at his final ever Barcelona Grand Prix, his Honda power unit just decided it was going to give up.
Let's just say Lewis would be buying him a few drinks after the race.
Yeah, because it was almost a perfectly timed virtual safety car. I've never seen a more perfectly timed one. And unfortunately, watching it, though, it was like, oh, my God, Ferrari is still going to find a way to bottle this, aren't they? They're still going to somehow not come in, even though it's blindingly obvious. But thankfully, the strategy department did decide to rock up to Maranello that day.
Yeah.
And they brought him in. Because under a virtual safety car, that 20 seconds suddenly becomes like 12.
Yeah.
Relative to the rest of the grid. And
then they put him on hards, and then that was it. Like
game over.
Lewis was gone. And so the next fight was between Antonelli and George during the race. And they weren't too happy with that because they put a bit of pressure on the Mercedes power unit to the end that Antonelli's power unit actually gave up from all the infighting between George and himself.
And it was clear by that part of the race that Antonelli had far better pace than George.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's one of those situations, though, you don't necessarily want to intervene in a championship fight. But maybe the prudent decision would have been, actually, if we want to win this race, we have to favour Antonelli.
Or at least get on the podium.
And
exactly.
It's interesting because that Barcelona race 10 years ago was the Lewis
the
Nico
2016
Rosberg crash.
Yes.
So people were like, are we going to see a repeat of this weekend? And
they got feisty, didn't they?
They got very close.
Yeah.
I think they touched. Like, Antonelli had front end plate.
On the
damage.
right. Yeah, totally.
History repeating.
Gabrielle, talk to us.
About the race?
Yes.
No, it was funny. It was like there was nothing happening at the start. It was all way too professional and casual and professional and nice to each other. It heated up a bit, and it was good to see. It was fun to see the Hamilton back at the front. Hopefully, we don't get too used to seeing it because we got very bored of that.
Yes.
But now he's in the red car.
Yes.
Now he's in the red car, which kind of I think is sees him capitalize on his sort of reputation because he's now winning in 2 different teams. It's always it seems to add to their aura of a drive. 3 different teams. It seems to add to their aura when they win races in different different teams. 'Cause you can kind of rule out that it was just the car getting you over the line.
Yes. Yeah.
And giving you an advantage. Yeah, but no, cool race. And next one's in a week and a half from now, yeah?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where are they going? I don't even know where they're going.
Austria, I think it's next.
Oh, the best circuit. Yeah, okay,
Yes.
cool.
And not to bury the lead, but Hamilton did go on to win.
Yes.
Which I think is sort of a very important note to make there.
Exactly.
Of course. I mean, it's a headline everywhere. The unfortunate for Antonelli and
Yeah, and the Aston Martins. Yeah, not
and
not
really
performing.
unfortunate for Hulkenberg. You see what
Yeah.
happened to his
And
car?
Oh
the
yeah,
Audi.
kicked
Yeah.
up Pebble, landed and
Yeah.
hit the only emergency. What was it? Like emergency shutdown?
Really?
Yeah.
Just a single, like a button, and it hit it.
Liam Lawson strikes again.
Yeah, and then of course Alex Albon had to get his the T camera sat on top of the Williams car, the one that shows the helmet and also the front POV.
Yeah.
That became broken, so he had to get that repaired, and ended up 8 laps
Is
behind
that a
everyone else.
stipulation, is it? Like
Yeah.
that running?
So yeah, every equipment on the F1 car has to be secured, and the camera wasn't secured, and you
Yeah.
can watch the POV. It's basically like drunk
Shaky.
camera. So he had to retire, get that repaired, and then go back out there. So he was, what's it called? Classified as not classified,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
for a lot of people the first time they've ever seen that, because he
Yeah.
didn't complete as many laps as everyone else.
Right, you need to do 75% or whatever.
Yes,
it is.
exactly.
Yeah, to
So-
get classified.
Yeah, a little bit of wacky races.
Yeah, and it was so weird because I was looking at the timing tower and I suddenly saw Albon's transponder come back on.
Yeah.
Like, and he was
He
like,
thought it was out,
like-
but no.
Yeah. And so did the commentators for half a second, but then Val's very much clarified there. But
Exactly.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
women in motorsport, is he?
Oh yeah, Le Mans 24-hour happened over the weekend, and former F1 Academy champion Dorian Pan was driving in the LMP2 category, and she led a majority of the race before her car number 30, the Duquan Okek, needed to retire due to a brake failure with only 3.5 hours left on the run.
It's a cruel race.
It is a brutal narrative that
Yeah.
is heard every single time in endurance racing. So obviously quite upset at that result, but good on her for leading for that long as well.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, and then the in the top category, which they call prototype, Toyota secured victory. The number 7 Toyota hybrid, driven by Kumo Kobayashi, Nick DeFries.
Oh, that's an old name.
Did we think we'd ever hear that name?
Again, yeah.
And Mike Conway crossed the line 10.9 seconds ahead of the chasing BMW, with the number 8 Toyota coming home in third. So Toyota pretty happy with that, because they weren't going to race in Le Mans anymore. But maybe they'll be there next year when Ford rock up. That'll be interesting. Wouldn't it be great to have Max Verstappen just sitting in the Ford's prototype, just hammering it around? Anyway, NASCAR.
That's if he is still Ford affiliated.
Yes,
Yeah.
true. Okay, he can take his Mercedes after all. So this weekend, forget about last weekend, but this weekend they've got a new circuit. It's a bit like Chicago all over again. Shane Van Gisbergen has been briefed on the circuit. He actually gave some pointers about where they should put the tyres and stuff like that on the barriers. And it's going to be a sure victory for Shane Van Gisbergen on the weekend. So if you want to catch it, it'll be on Monday morning at 6 a.m. Be great to see. He'll give them what I'm calling a driving lesson. Sail GP is also happening this weekend, and MotoGP is the Czech Grand Prix this weekend. We also got a text in from Pete asking about the red tyres, the softs, why they are only effective for one lap during quali, but they're okay during the race, like we saw with Hamilton, who put down like 17 laps or something. Maxie, you want to talk us through that?
Yeah, well, the answer's kind of deceptively simple. It is just the fact that in qualifying, they are leaning on the tyre that much harder. They're just at full tilt. And during the race, because it's sort of quasi-endurance, they're never actually taking the full life out of the tyre. So if we want to take the last race and compare the lap times, right? So for pole position, it's a 1:14.6 from George Russell. But in race conditions, the fastest lap was only a 1:20.1 from Lewis Hamilton. So you got that 5.5 second delta. And that, again, allows you to eke out
more life.
However much.
Yeah, totally. Wasn't it interesting that they did testing at Barcelona as well as Bahrain, and then the times at the beginning of the year at Barcelona were 1:20 was the best sort of time they could put down. And now they're doing 114s. So even within, how many months is that? 4 months or so? 5 months?
Yeah.
They're already taking 5 seconds off, which is a lifetime in a Formula One.
And it is also doubtful that they were at full tilt during that initial testing, because that was mainly about getting mileage on the new power units, as I understand that initial Barcelona shakedown.
Right, okay.
But again, it's a similar logic applies.
Yes, it's because I want to know, what did they set in 2025? What was the sort of the lap time with the
most of the lap times when I've been looking between the qualifying times have been about 2 to 2.5 seconds slower, depending on how long the circuit is.
Yeah.
Which is on par with what happens when they reset regulations. They lose about that much, and then they'll gain it over the next few years. So I was surprised at how little lap time they've lost compared to how much downforce they've lost on the cars.
Yeah. So last year's pole position, for reference, was a 1:11.5 set by Oscar Piastri.
3 physicists at the Technical University of Denmark, they have ranked the types of paper that are most likely to cause a paper cut.
Oh, shut up. Really?
Yeah. You tune into 4ZZZ and the show is No Idea with me, Max. We've got Issy, we've got Peta, we've got Gabe, and we've got Maximillian, because we're going to talk about Mythos again, which we spoke about a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, as part of Project Glasswing, which, if you're unfamiliar, is Anthropic AI's security research project, where they gave it out to big technology companies to sort of harden their software in the wake of what they feel is going to be this sort of sea change where AI will enable bad actors to effectively have easier access to hacking systems, etc.
Which is not completely unfounded, because they gave it out after using it to discover exploits in fundamental pieces of software that hold up this weird web of internet that we all use. But it seemed a bit terrified about it. Yeah. And so they gave it out to the big tech groups that you'd know, but also a bunch of the sort of smaller ones that are just like basically passion projects run by a small bunch of people and given out for free, but are still fundamental pieces of the internet's architecture and infrastructure. Yeah.
And so Fable 5 was suddenly available, which was...
So to explain what Fable 5 is, it's effectively a rebranding of Mythos. So it has the exact same weights. It's effectively the same, if you want to call it, code running underneath, except it has this additional safeguard where if you do ask it something that it feels is a grey area, it will downgrade you to their next most capable model, which is Opus 4.8. And that was sort of that was the only way they felt comfortable giving a Mythos class model to the general public. And that lasted about 3 days. So the US government, citing national security authorities, issued a export control directive to suspend access to Fable 5 and Mythos 5 to any foreign national, regardless of where they lived. No, well, true, but unfortunately, Anthropic does employ a lot of foreign nationals, and they use their own tools internally. So they had to just sort of pull the plug on it, because they didn't have an enforcement model for it that they could roll out either internally or externally. So
we were
effectively...
Weren't we meant to hear from the CEO yesterday about what...
We were meant to... Nothing's really come out. They've flown some people to Washington, D.C. to try and, I guess, talk it out. What's come out this morning is that the federal government, the US federal government's objection over Fable 5 is not necessarily a complicated, like what they call jailbreak, where, my grandmother always liked to tell me that, so on and so forth. It is literally just pointing it at a code base and saying, please fix this code.
Yes. Yeah.
And that is enough, that because it's two sides of a coin, right? Say, tell me how to break into this system and tell me how to fix this system are the same problem phrased differently. So you could point it at one of these, open source or source available projects that does underpin the web, and you could say,
and please fix. Like you try to be positive, and it's actually just finding all the negatives that you can exploit.
Pretty please.
Don't shut me off. Anyway, so any more? You got a case example at all for Fable 5 or that you used it for?
That I personally used it for? I had it clean up a little bit of code that I was unhappy with, and it did a pretty good job. I think the step change from their previous models is the fact that it seems to be able to get that nice, very high-level view of a code base. Whereas I think Opus and all the previous ones do sort of they sort of get in that local maximum. Whereas I think what's made these Mythos class models quite powerful is their ability to look holistically at a code base, but also divide the work up logically. and kick off lots of sub-agents without a lot of user intervention. It's a very powerful tool. I was impressed.
And you were going to use it on some real code the next day, and then it was banned.
Yeah, I had a lot of things planned, but,
and then he got banned.
Yeah, as not being a US citizen. Lord knows what the path back will be. Whether it will be US citizens only, or we don't really know what the
upside
is
is
at the moment.
What we can say is this show and all Triple Z programming is not Mythos scrutinised, would you say? And
nor created.
Nor created.
Has not touched it.
Yes.
Untouched.
But we do rely on subscriptions for us to keep going, keep the aircon going, get the lights happening, get the microphones working. And if you want to go to our website at 4ZZZ.org.au/support, you can subscribe if you're under 18 for $25. If you want to subscribe your pet, it's $25. Concession, $40. Full is $80. Passionate, $140, or super sub for $500. Get your name written in gold ink downstairs. What prize have we got? We've got a monthly prize for June.
The June monthly prize is $150 at Sonic Sherpa, a local Australian record store in the Stones Corner, where they do pre-loved, new vinyl, also turntable CDs, books, DVDs, all your physical media will be there. So you'll go into the running when you subscribe in the month of June.
Exactly. Go and talk to Steve. He'll sort you out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Gabe, any more to add?
Nope, that's it.
You're tuning to 4ZZZ, and the show is No Idea with me, Max. We've got Issy, we've got Gabe, we've got Peter, and we've got part 3 of this. At the beginning of the show, we've been talking World Cup. Gabe's been watching every show imaginable.
If you're wondering why Gabe thought a Finch could be 702 millimetres, that's why.
Oh no, I've lost all my...
Did you just close the whole program? I just watched the smile leave his eyes.
Max without a script. He powers down.
Anyway, to do with the World Cup, a model built by researchers from the Management School of the University of Liverpool, QS ranking
for the Management University,
or
just for the
University?
Okay, cool. Should really clarify.
University of Liverpool.
324.
110.
Yeah.
91.
Yeah. Izzy's the closest. 147.
Nice.
It predicts an England-Spain 2026 Football World Cup final.
Yeah, well, they would want that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, of course.
As if.
It's coming home.
It's not coming. The women brought it home, and you can thank them for that, and then lose the rest of your dreams.
And Spain are the favourites to lift the trophy. It should be noted the researchers have form. They correctly predicted Euro 2024. Using the latest machine learning technologies, their state-of-the-art forecasting model can predict match results based on the quality of individual players and how they are likely to interact with each other on the pitch.
Have they rerun the model after Spain drew with Kepler? Which is like the Portuguese DT?
True, I know, they haven't. After running 1,000 simulations before that match, factoring in everything from fitness to the all-important weather, Dr. Benjamin Holmes and Professor Ian McHale from the Centre for Sports Business have predicted every nation's chance of winning the World Cup and of reaching each knockout round.
And Australia's going to get to the round of 16.
Mm-hmm.
The supercomputer rates England's probability of glory at 17% compared to Spain's 26%.
Wow.
So clearly they haven't factored in England's propensity to lose. It's against all odds to lose.
France is at 13.5%. And current champions, Argentina, are 12.4%, and Portugal, 10.6%. So they're your sort of top 5 or 6. The coveted Golden Boot is a toss-up between Norway's Erling Haaland and Spain's Mike Oyarzabal. Is that?
You want to try that one again?
No. It's Mike who? Mikkel.
I should know.
Probably Mikhail.
We'll leave him out to dry.
Both are Oyarzabal. Oyarzabal. So Oyarzabal. There you go.
Cool. What are their percentages?
Who are both predicted to score 5.2 goals across the simulations.
Well, Haaland's already on 2, so he's right on track.
Yeah, there you go. What about when he gets to 0.2? Anyway, Dr. Benjamin Holmes said, since Euro 2024, we have expanded our simulation model with a host of new features. The core idea remains the same, estimating the abilities of players and how they interact with each other and their opponents.
You think it's just them playing FIFA over and over again?
We have now
different combinations.
We have now added simulations for injuries, suspensions, and who scores the goals. We even model the playing conditions, capturing the weather and altitude that matter so much in this year's expansive tournament across 3 host countries. Whilst our model agrees with others in making Spain the favourites, Norway emerges as the standout dark horse with a 3.6% chance of winning the trophy across our simulations.
I've decided Norway is my second.
Is
I
it?
think they're
After
my second or
Australia.
third, purely because I saw that the fans do this rowing thing in the stadium.
Love.
It's sick. Go Norway. Hell yeah. Also, they rejected Denmark's application to be fans in a really sarcastic video about how, they'd love to have their colonizers be their fans. Thank you so much for this attention that you've never given us before.
Yes.
I was like,
Yeah.
brilliant. Yes, Norway.
Fantastic.
Well, let's talk about Australia, the Socceroos, and they're in Group D against Turkey, which we've won already, the USA and Paraguay. And the group stage consists of 48 teams divided into 12 groups of 4. And they gave Australia, before the match, 67.1% chance of advancing out of this group stage. And so if you do...
so their supermodel gave them
67%.
The Socceroos a high
very high.
chance.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
because most predictions were very low for Australia getting
Right,
out of the group.
okay.
That's interesting.
So if you do the numbers, Australia will probably have 2 wins, 1 draw, and 1 loss, probably to the USA.
Can one of the wins be
Well,
against the
there's
US?
three
Well,
games.
there's 3 games
so
against
probably
the
one of
US,
each
so
then.
Yeah, true.
probably one of each.
Yeah. And then the knockout rounds, if Australia makes it into the knockout round of 32, the chance of winning then drops by half to 31%. And then, unfortunately, Australia has never advanced past the knockout stage of 16. So it's so we'll make
On
it
par.
That's okay.
Yeah. But if we got into the quarterfinals, which means there's 8 teams left, Australia has a 10% chance of winning and progressing to the semis.
Yep.
So then there were 4. And then Australia, if we're in the top 4 left, we go down to 1%.
Hell yeah!
Progressing to the
It's a
final.
miracle.
Hey, that's still something. That's still something. It's coming home.
It's when Haaland and Ronaldo and all the top players suddenly come down with a mysterious illness.
And then if Australia manages to get into the final, we're
What's the percent, Max? Give us the percent.
0.3.
Oh my God.
0.3. So basically tending to 0. But as Izzy says, there is a chance.
0.3.
There's a chance. There is a chance. We just need everyone else to fall ill, trip, get an injury,
that's right.
and then we might get through.
So we'll leave it there.
Oh, gosh.
And do not use any of these percentages for sports betting because we don't condone sports betting
do
on
that.
No Idea.
Yep.
Okay.
And if you want to watch the male Matildas play as well, don't forget they're playing
The Mantildas.
Saturday.
The Mantildas. They're playing Saturday 5 a.m.
Yeah, USA.
Yeah.
Bring it home. We're gonna
We got to beat them at least. I'll be happy if we beat them.
For real, we'll take it.
Yeah, Qantas just sends the plane over and picks them up. Job done.
Your predictions in the past, Max, how accurate have those been?
Not so good. No.
So that's right, everyone. Take this.
Maybe I shouldn't play this
Bucket
now.
of salt.
If you're tuning to 4ZZZ, the show is No Idea with me, Max. We got Issy, Peter. What do you got for us, Gabe?
It's a rare thing when I find a story that I'm like, yeah, I'll run this as a weird science thing early in the show, short and sweet, get the science out, and then I get sucked in and go, what is going on? I need to talk about this as my main thing for this week because it's blowing my mind. To start with this, I'm going to do a little experiment with the 3 of you. Could you just
Love
turn
this.
to the side for me to start with?
Yeah.
I know you're sort of sitting down. If you're listening, just turn to the side, Interesting. So we got left for Max, right for Izzy, and right for Peter. I'm keen to hear which way. That was it. That was the whole experiment.
I was considering
I wanted
going
to see
left,
which
and I was
way
like, it
you
looks
turned.
boring over there.
So I want to text in 0420626733 which direction you turn. The number's on our website if you want to track it down. Because have you noticed something a bit weird about track and field tracks or NASCAR racetracks or track cycling tracks, or
Anti-clockwise?
ice skating races and horse race tracks, they all run anti-clockwise. Anti-clockwise. In fact, the first modern Olympics, 1896, athletes ran clockwise around the track, but it was changed in 1913 because the majority of athletes felt it was an unnatural direction to run, partially potentially because we have a right dominance more. More humans will be right dominant for their hand.
So
and
more
their leg.
powerful on the right, yeah.
Yeah, but also just constant, everything is running anti-clockwise. If you think about, like supermarkets know how this works. If you walk into a supermarket, you're most likely going to walk in on the left if they're able to design the structure for that. When you walk into a supermarket, they know you're going to veer left. So in an optimally designed supermarket, they've got the fresh fruit and vegetables ready for you. You walk in, you turn left, you find the fresh fruit and vegetables right for your right hand to reach out and grab. They designed the supermarket for that. You walk in, you turn left, you reach out your right dominant hand for most people, and you pick up fruit and veg.
Who would have thought they're gaming us?
Who would have thought? And there's been previous stuff on like circle pits in heavy metal concerts. Anti-clockwise. And so there's some research has gone into this because they found it in a place we haven't seen before. It was come out of a combination of universities, including the University of Navarra in Spain and the University of Tokyo in Japan. Can I get QSs for those two?
Tokyo, it would be 25, and the other one, 102.
Yeah, I'll go
Anyone
with
else?
that, actually. I'll back
I'll
Max.
go Tokyo 64, other one 180.
University of Navarra in Spain is 262 and Tokyo is 36. So they was doing stuff during the COVID pandemic. They were studying, they were trying to figure out how crowds move around spaces and see if they can do stuff to influence people's behaviors to maintain social distancing. They were going for 2 meters. We had 1.5 here. They were trying to see how people move, see if there's ways they can naturally encourage social distancing.
So without telling people
movement.
just spread apart, how do you get people to sort of naturally
and how do
move away?
people naturally move so you know where to intervene and how to help people just sort of
Like a
subconsciously.
stone in the flow of a river.
Yeah, whatever it might be. But then they noticed something that piqued their curiosity. In 32 of the 33 experimental trials, people noticeably preferred to turn in a counterclockwise direction. So when humans turn and the general movement pattern of the crowd, both are left geared, counterclockwise geared in rotation. And so they were really unexpected because they imagined people would just walk around randomly in these sort of simulations. You'd get some people going this way, some people that way. By and large, in a crowd, you'd get randomish movement with little sign of overall preference, but they found a definite and measurable tendency for counterclockwise left turning. So they called in Japan. And this is where the University of Tokyo came in.
The Japanese will be able to help us with this.
Yeah. So they did a whole bunch of simultaneous experiments in Japan and in Spain. So they tried to get very different cultural settings. Within Japan and Spain, they had different age groups. They had like people, they didn't go above mid-30s, but then they had people like adults, they had school kids, they had toddlers, they had all sorts of different setups. They had big groups, small groups, they had individuals walking around, and they were trying to just measure how people tend to move in these situations. So there's all these top-down camera shots of all this stuff happening, and they're tracking the movement and looking for this intrinsic locomotor bias is what they're calling it. So where you don't have everyone moving around in a perfect whirlpool counterclockwise, but there is a notable preference. Is what they're looking for. In one experiment with the individuals, they put them in this hexagon thing, which looks straight out of Squid Games. And they
Into the ring you go, brothers.
Put 209 people in, asked them to walk alone and freely.
That sounds like a drama game.
Yeah.
Love.
And they found in that experiment counterclockwise all the time. Not everyone, but definite preference for counterclockwise movement in this hexagon space. And they've then factored in all this other stuff. Like I mentioned age. They also had the different cultures across Spain and Japan. They had different genders. They had different upbringings and financial well-being. Like they covered lots of different things that could have gone into a social or cultural conditioning that may get people to gear towards the left, and none of it in the stats came out as explaining the results. So they can eliminate those factors as what was causing it. They don't think it's a social or cultural thing that is causing this. The only thing they measured that caused a change was that younger people, like school children, follow the clockwise pattern more strongly than the adults did. So the younger people turn left even more. If you go and look at school kids in the schoolyard, especially if you can get a top-down view.
Creepy. Sure.
One, creepy. Only do it if one of them is your child or a child
or if you're a teacher. Maybe not only if they're all your responsibility.
But they will probably have a counterclockwise movement to them. And then, so because all of those factors they controlled didn't have a measurable impact other than the slight increase with younger kids, they don't know why it's happening. So all this stuff, they said they try to measure all this stuff, but the bias, the sort of unexplained factor of the movement was still there. They couldn't adding in these other variables didn't explain
change
it.
anything.
So something else is going on that makes humans turn left. You turn left by and large, and they don't know why.
But do you know what this is making me think of? I don't know about you guys. I don't have road rage. I do have pedestrian rage. I have strong pedestrian rage. And in this country, we walk on the left. And I can excuse some tourists getting confused. That's fine.
Oh,
if you lived in this country, you walk on the left. And this is telling me that I'm right and we're right and you should walk on the left.
Gabe.
It's natural.
When we were at the Formula One and the media room was upstairs, and obviously Formula One is an international sport, so you get Europeans and us Aussies and whoever else. The right-left walking up the stairs thing constantly got us. Constantly, I was standing face-to-face with a European man, typically, and being like, hey, mate, hate to say it, you got to walk on the other side.
You're wrong here.
Yeah.
I'm correct.
I also wanted to ask, I wonder if, I know in a lot of countries, reading left to right is quite common. And in Arabic countries, reading right to left is much more common. So I wonder if that plays a role. Like a lot of people are very much like left to right. With
Japan
signs.
is right to left, but down. So
and
it's
also
from
up
the
and
right,
down.
Yeah, so they go from the right
to bottom.
the top right, bottom, but it is still right to left. It's not left to right. So that should have been accounted for, I would imagine, between Spain and Japan.
They would have captured that between the Spanish people and the Japanese people, but they want to do more. They're doing more. They're currently already doing more research. They're going to add more people in. I hope they get some Southern Hemisphere stuff in there as well. So it's not
imagine
just
if
some
we're
weird,
clockwise.
Some of the researchers did make a joke that maybe even though the toilet thing is not real, that it doesn't flush the other way. They were like, well, maybe the Aussies turn the other way.
There you go.
So we'll see. There's more to come. But yes, you turn to the left. You have a counterclockwise tendency to your movement, and we don't know why.
No idea. Space news. Okay, just a quick follow-up of last week, the leaks, the elephant in the room, in the Russian module, the PRK module, and NASA made sure it was an international incident by getting all the crew to sit on the Crew Dragon attached to the space station in case everything went pear-shaped with the Russians doing repairs to the leaks.
Nice.
In the Russian segment. And this is what transpired. It only happened later. They told us what happened. They wanted to use a drill with a depth indicator, so a bit of like electrical tape on the drill bit to say, don't go too far into space, into space, to try and how you drill a hole so the cracks all adhere to that circle. They were hoping to do that, and NASA said no, you're not doing any drilling on board the ISS. So they said, can we take a hacksaw in and hacksaw some of the structural components so we can have a better look at the cracks?
Nice.
And NASA said no, and everyone on board the Crew Dragon, please, because Russia's about to lose it here with the ISS. So Roscosmos acquiesced in the end, and as we know, the Russians just went in for an hour and just took some photos and did some measurements and got the hell out of there. And then they depressurized the transfer tunnel and locked it up and put Stoy on the front of it saying stop and do not open, and it's now been decommissioned. So that's the last we're going to hear about the leaks. Anyway, you're tuned into 4ZZZ, and the show's No Idea, but not for much longer. Sign us out, Gabe.
That is all we have time for. This show is brought to you thanks to all the subscribers of 4ZZZ. You can join them at 4ZZZ.org.au. We had some of them texting in. Wave said, turn to the left during that last story. Chris, turn to the right.
Ooh.
Owen, turn left. Oh, Owen said surely most said listeners would turn left.
What an
very good. And Chris saying right-handed, but I am a goofy footer. Go figure. Yeah, well, there you go. You can join. Yeah, you can become a subscriber at fortribblez.org.au, which is also where you can listen back to this show, the recording of this show with all the music, as well as our previous shows, or a bunch of them anyway, last 6 or so of them. The condensed version of this show is available on your podcasting platform of choice. To search up No Idea 4ZZZ. That's No Idea with a K. No Idea 4ZZZ, which is also our handle on socials. Thanks to Toby for editing up the pod. Thanks to your stories, Max, Maxi, Izzy, and Peter. This week, we'll be back in your ears next week. Between now and then, watch out for an octopus armed with a mirror. Check your intrinsic locomotive bias. Have a cry that you can't use Fable 5 or Mythos 5 and get your hopes up because the Socceroos have, what was it, a 0.3% odds of making the final?
Taking the trophy.
Taking the trophy, yeah. Higher to get in the final.
0.3% shot.
And we'll speak to you next week. Cheers.
See ya.
Bye.
I'm a goddamn marvel of modern science.